so wet. Stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Best thing that I'll ever know.
Hello, hello, hello. Sorry. I have a lifesaver in my mouth. See? Mint lifesaver. So, okay. I finally got through this whole list. Here's the first part from yesterday. This is more. And this is more. Those are the different creators of the 292 YouTube pages that mentioned hashtag Chris Proudfoot. Okay. So, I went through each one of them to find out if they were green team or blue team. I still have 3 that I've got pulled up that I'm not 100% sure about. One of them I think I know, or a couple of them, but I hadn't heard the message. So, I thought the message was important. Now, the ones that were like psychics or doing tarot cards or things like that, I didn't count those. Because, hi April T, how are you? Because whoever, my daughter. Excuse me, just one second. Oh my gosh, she looks like my daughter. She's my granddaughter. See? But she looks just like my daughter. She's getting ready for prom. Beautiful, beautiful. I cannot complain. I didn't have any of my anxiety medicine this morning, so I had to go get that filled. And for some reason, I don't know if one has anything to do with the other, but I have been drinking iced coffee today like it was I finally had to cut myself off and get iced tea because I was so wired I could not see straight. Okay, so what I'm doing, like I was saying, I've been going through these 292 pages, channels. Some of them were repeat. Coffee isn't good. I know. And I've been wired. I haven't been in a bad mood. I actually got one of my flower beds cleaned out. Took all the mulch out, took all the weeds out, pulled all the weeds by hand. I haven't got the mower or weed eater out yet, but I got one. But I have a degenerative disc in my something's wrong with my disc in my lower back. So I can't bend and squat for very long without getting dizzy. So anyway, I got one done. I'll do the others later. So anyway, I went on Grok and it said there were 292 pages that mentioned Chris Proudfoot. And I was just looking for which pages had his interviews on it. So, I didn't count them, but I've got a half a page here, and these are without repeating. A half a page here, and a whole page here. Now, last night I went through several of them, and with reality's help, I understand I'm on disability for it. With reality's help, we determined a lot of them that whether they were green or blue. And I just have 3 more. Some of them I think I know, but at the same time, I hadn't heard the message that they were saying before. And then in the middle of doing that, I found something that SF Investigates did back in October against the green team. Excuse me, my suppers. I had broccoli for supper and it's kind of telling on me. Repeating. Trust me, broccoli tastes better the first time. Okay, so I'm going to. I keep getting this Norton antivirus thing. Okay, let me do. I was importing items over to my new website. Oh, yeah, let me put that on here while we're here. I'm going to put this on here. I'll show it to you in just a minute. Let me get my fair use disclaimer up here. Open sesame! Okay. Huh. There it goes. There's my fair use disclaimer. Oh, my face is itching from being out in that grass. Everything is with the 107 of the United States copyright law and all that yada, yada, yada. We've seen it on every page. And then I'll go on here, show you. It says my server can't be reached because I spelled it wrong. All right. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard with this lighting. There we go. This is my website. It says, can you see? There. The resale store you've been looking for. And then it's all items that you can purchase right off my website. And none of them are on, they might be on eBay, but not under my name. All my eBay stuff is on a different name. And then Saturday, April 26th, there's going to be a huge yard sale at the train station over in El Dorado, Kansas. And I'm going to take a bunch of my glass, not this Murano, but a bunch of this other glass that's not been listed on either eBay or my website. And I'm going to a yard sale. So I'm going to do a booth at the yard sale. That's April 26th in El Dorado, Kansas. So, okay. Now I'm going to pop on this screen. Let me turn on some music now that my music is working. Yes, it does. It takes all my time. Um, I think twice a week, I put out thrifting videos of items that I've thrifted. Every night I go live, so I have to spend the day doing research. Plus, I have to photograph it and research it and everything. I have some really high priced things. Now, the Murano, another lady that I went to school with, said she wants all this Murano glass. So I could sell it on my website and make about $600 off those 4 pieces. But she buys it at a very reasonable discount. So, and if you buy off my website, off my YouTube channel, when I post a thrifting video, or if on here I go over an old thrifting video, if the items are still available, and you purchase from that, then you can just make a reasonable offer. And as long as it's more than what I paid for it and less than what it would list for on eBay, we can talk. I can send you a PayPal invoice. You can pay the invoice with any debit or credit card, even one of those prepaid Visa cards from Walmart or whatever. And just give me 1 second. I'm going to open this window. I'm about to melt. I would open the window right there, but I can't reach over my desk to get to it. I moved my office around because the sun was shining right in my face and washing me out. Okay. Is shipping? Well, it depends on the item. I can do flat rate shipping at, I think on my site, the shipping's like $10 an item to ship. But if it's a smaller item and it doesn't cost as much, then it just goes by the size of the package and the weight of the package. If it's over a pound, up to a pound is like standard, not very much. If it's a pound or over, it costs a little more. And if the box has to be more than 12 inches, then it has to be a little bit more. I'll tell you what, to mail a pizza box with a single cross in it, the pizza box that I wrapped in paper, cost me $34 to ship to Dayton, Ohio. So, and that lady that bought that has 2 more boxes of stuff down here, and she owes me $300 on these 2 boxes of stuff before she gets them. So, I hope she'll pay it soon, because coming the 1st, it's going up another $145. It just depends on where I'm shipping to. If I'm shipping overseas, it costs a lot more. Okay, so now I'm going to share screen. I paint, but shipping is ridiculous. I understand that. My husband's a photographer. He's also an over-the-road truck driver. So every time he stops, he takes pictures. And he wants to start selling his photographs. because he's into the, I can't remember what it's called. I call it midnight photography. I think it's celestial photography or something like that, where he takes the shots in the raw at night, and he has to be where there's no light pollution or whatever. So he likes to do that in the middle of the night, because a lot of times his travels will take him to where he doesn't end, his day don't end till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and he has to take a 10-hour break. So he'll go out and take a few pictures, and then so plus he's my web designer because he's an IT professional as well. So that's how I got my website. And all right, let's listen to this lady. This is NNE Gen X. So, and I don't know if she is, I don't remember if she's green. Let me see if I can find her. Okay, yeah, she's a green team, but I liked her message. So I want to go over her message. Where did it go? What's that?
On the night of February 25th, 2024, the night Sebastian Rogers went missing, there was a waning gibbous moon, which was fully illuminating the sky. The night before Sebastian Rogers went missing, on
Can you hear it?
24th, there was a full moon. So a waning gibbous moon is usually brighter than the full moon because it illuminates the sky more. Last night, January 14th, 2025, we experienced a waning gibbous moon. When I looked on my Ring cameras, and I live in a very rural area, no street lights, I can see pretty much everything outside, even when zooming out. So, can someone please tell me why Sebastian Rogers wasn't spotted on cameras? I mean, he couldn't have known how to dodge all the cameras in the neighborhood. How was he not spotted? How are they not sure that was him taking the trash out that night? Can someone please answer that below? On the night of February.
So, I'm not into all that celestial stuff. I don't know how the moon works and all that stuff. But if the moon was bright enough that night to light up the whole area, okay, so that would debunk the 3:30 a.m. flashlight video, wouldn't it? Because if it was light enough that you could see, you'd be able to see who was carrying the flashlight. It's just a thought, just a thought. And this one is Michelle's Criminal Musings. And I don't know, let me look for her name on this list. Some of these I don't know whether they're green or they're blue. She's green, but she's talking about something that Chris refuses to answer questions about. So, pull it up on screen here. And that.
Many of you may have heard about the interview last night on Web Sleuths with Chris, Proudfoot, Seth, the private investigators, and the host. And I just have so much to say, and then at the same time, I don't know what to say at that. But one thing we do in true crime is study human behavior. So take a look at some of the kind of talking points that I found from here, and let me know what you guys think. Where do you see this going from here?
Spend ball time at the ballpark. You know, when Seth has Sebastian on the weekends, he goes and does fishing and things like that with Sebastian just as well. I mean, Seth works long hours. I work long hours.
And I'm not saying any of that is suspicious at all, Chris. I'm just asking if that was normal. Because if it wasn't normal and he was overstimulated, that could be a reason for him to have ran out of the house.
No, he was
Okay.
not overstimulated.
Okay, so that wasn't one of the possible reasons for him to leave.
Here's what I'll say. Everything is on the table. Nothing has been taken off the table. Period. That's the same.
I don't know what the ding is for, but I hear it in videos often. Maybe I'm just the one hearing it. It's about to say hit a breaking point. Okay. Seth doesn't, not Seth, I'm sorry. Chris Proudfoot doesn't answer questions. He goes in to say, here's what I will say. But he doesn't actually answer the question.
Same statement law enforcement has made. That's the same statement I'm going to tell you every single day in and day out.
Katie gave my son to your mother and father. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Say it one more time.
Do you not want to say that? But we can move on. So
No. I want to hear it.
You see, Seth said something. I didn't understand what he said. But then he decided, right. Then Seth decided that maybe it's best if he don't say it. So he said, I better not say that. And now Chris Proudfoot is saying, but I want to hear it. Because Chris wants to start a fight. In my opinion.
There's a rumor out there, Chris, that your mom and your dad have Sebastian. It's been brought up to me.
Seth, you know darn good well you got a question about my
I'm
mother.
just asking.
You pick up the
Did they
phone.
take you somewhere to lead a boot camp?
Okay. Now look, this is what I was talking about. It's been brought up to Seth that Chris's parents have Sebastian. Okay? Chris will not say, no, my parents don't have Sebastian. He says, you can call my parents.
Brought up to me.
Seth, you know darn good well you got a question about my
I'm
mother.
just asking.
You pick up the
Did
phone.
they take you somewhere to lead a boot camp or anything like that, and Katie just thought I wouldn't accept it?
I don't think Seth is being accusatory. I think he's just trying to clear up a bunch of BS that's been online.
Right, and I'm trying, and I'm telling you, if he's had this suspicion, he's got my mother's phone number. He can pick up the phone and call her. She is not afraid to answer any questions.
I'm not saying you. I don't want to talk to your mom. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to Katie.
Well, it's real simple, Seth.
To put it to the rest.
You have seen the video footage of Seth on Sunday. Don't tell me you hadn't. I know you have. You sat in the room with all the agents.
No, they didn't show me the video footage, buddy.
So you didn't see, you weren't sitting in a room with law enforcement, the district attorney, when they showed you a video, when you wanted proof of life, saying that you hadn't seen proof since Friday. When you've been at my house the first 3 damn days.
Sunday, buddy.
Chris, let Seth speak. Go ahead, Seth.
Chris, they showed me video proof of him coming out of Texas Roadhouse on Sunday.
On a Sunday night. You damn right.
Just Chris.
Seth, I got a problem with you sitting here making these accusations. Because if you got a problem with them, guess what?
Let's squash it.
I think we're just trying to talk things out, and I don't even know if this should be public, honestly.
Same.
Okay, here's all the public knowledge you need on this deal. Law enforcement has talked to my parents, my whole family. Once again, the statement is true, what law enforcement says. Just because you hear a rumor doesn't make it true.
Chris,
I don't think he said it was true. I think he's just trying to clarify.
That's not clarifying. No, stop sitting here trying to defend his actions. Stop.
Okay.
The fact is, Chris, is I'm trying to squash the rumor. We're both here. squashing the rumor.
Seth, there is no rumor. You know my parents were not with Katie on Sunday.
That's all I'm doing, Chris.
No, you're causing a...
Okay, I'll admit, his parents were not with Katie on Sunday, but his mother was seen at Warsham's at 5:45 on Monday morning. Why would she have reason to be 6 blocks away from their house at 5:45 on Sunday morning? And then Katie leaves her house at 6:20 while Chris is texting and calling Seth. Katie leaves her house, drives straight to the high school, goes through the parking lot, never stops at the high school for any reason, and goes straight to Washam's, then does what she's doing at Washam's, which in my thoughts, I think she was transferring Sebastian from her car to Kathy Bowersox's car. And then she turns around and she comes back through the school parking lot and heads back home, because at 6:33 is when Chris calls law enforcement. So Chris gave her time to meet his mother, to be seen on the school video cameras going through the parking lot, meet his mother, be seen on the... Wouldn't there be a surveillance video from the store? They said their cameras were not working. I was thinking the same thing. But their cameras, for some strange reason, as were many cameras on Kellen Lane and Stafford Court, were not working from Friday till Tuesday. For some reason, cameras just in the area, some of the cameras, unless they were hardwired, were not working between Friday and Tuesday. That was really weird.
Problem, because you know damn good and well where my parents were at their house on Sunday night. They weren't near Katie. They weren't near Sebastian.
Yeah.
And if you got a problem, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call her. Be an adult. Be a responsible adult. And just call her.
Chris.
Okay. Now, let's just do a what for here. Okay? This bottle is Seth Rogers. This bottle is Chris Proudfoot. This bottle is Sebastian. Okay, we don't know where Sebastian's at. Okay, I am Kathy Bowersox. Chris Proudfoot is saying that Seth Rogers should call me to find out if I have Sebastian. If I'm guilty of having Sebastian in this scenario, and Seth Rogers calls me, I'm going to say, hey, no, I haven't seen Sebastian. You've seen Sebastian since I saw him last. How's he going to get the truth out of Kathy Bowersox just by calling her? Chris, don't make any sense. Yeah. Like she's, just exactly, April T. Like she's just going to say, yeah, he's right here. You want to come get him? I'm tired of feeding him. He's a bottomless pit and he needs his medicine. Wouldn't that be a miracle?
Can you hear me, Chris?
Oh, I can hear you.
Because all I'm hearing is anger and attitude from you. What I'm trying
and you should, Seth. You should. Because what you're doing is bullshit and you know it.
Okay, stop.
Okay,
People are talking
enough.
over each other.
Enough.
Seth, go, and then Chris, go. Please, Seth, and then Chris. Thank you.
Chris, a unified front squashes rumors together. That's all I am stating.
Okay, Chris.
This is a rumor floating around, and I would like us to squash it.
Yeah, I think that is a great rumor to try to squash. That one's on Facebook, and the rumor is actually that about your mom, her car being parked at like Worsham's and him getting in.
Okay, so here's the answer. The final answer to
It's
this.
not just an online rumor because people have driven up to me and personally spoken about this.
Okay,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, can I make the statement?
I wish
This is very simple. This conversation has nothing to do on social media. You want to have this conversation, Seth? You call me, you get Heather, you get Chloe on the phone.
That's
Hell,
fine.
I'll do you one better, and I will get Bobby and Carter on the phone, and we'll all sit down and have this little fucking powwow.
We're not going to have a powwow like that, but I would
Well, then guess what?
The situation, and I would love for it to be private because I believe a lot of what is happening right now should not be public.
So explain to me why you don't want Bobby and Carter involved.
I didn't say I didn't want Bobby and Carter involved. I said I was referring to your tone, which is very angry.
Oh, I'm very pissed.
I know that. I think we just all need to take a breath because no one is accusing anyone of anything. We are trying to dispel things because in turn, dispelling these things will take
so full of
some of the BS off of you.
Whoa. That was uncalled for. And Chris, I mean, I do understand your anger, but I know these ladies. I don't know Seth. I just know what I've seen. But these ladies are not full of shit.
I didn't say they're full of shit. I was referring to Seth being full of shit with his comments.
Well, that doesn't help matters.
No, it doesn't. So when you brought him on.
Okay. It's not Seth's comment. Seth wants to squash a rumor. He's asking, can we get the truth out about this? He's not accusing Chris of anything. Why is Chris such a opposite of a lifesaver? Why is Chris horrible? Man, how does Katie stay married to him?
On the show and he wants to start this shit, that isn't going to answer questions. It's going to spiral into the shit it's in. So we can set this shit aside and answer the questions that you got.
Okay. I would like to move on very quickly, but I will say the public opinion is not going to improve unless we can take a deep breath.
That's exactly right.
And I know you are frustrated.
You have no idea what I am.
I'm not saying I know
you
how
don't.
frustrated you are, but I know you're frustrated. And I am not saying that's not valid, but this is not helping.
If it's not helping, then you shouldn't be talking about it on social media.
But
as a PI, you should have said, you know what, we're not going to answer that question. We're going to do that privately. That's where that should have
I
went.
did say that actually several times. And you can listen to that recording later.
So let's move on to the next question.
I just got to say one thing. You want the public's help. You want them to be behind both of you. And
we need them to find Sebastian.
Exactly. And it's a very good chance that somebody in the public will find him.
My biggest frustration is that we all collectively have to deal with all of this instead of focusing on Sebastian.
Right. And it's a disadvantage to Sebastian. Really, it's sad because we're not any closer to finding him as long as we're all arguing like this.
Seth just wasn't, I mean, not Seth, Chris just was not answering the questions. Now, I still haven't figured out who was that. Oh, yeah, she was green. Okay, this last one is Court and Crime with Tia. I think she's green, but it says here, this clip from YouTube channel Web Sleuth and a link to the video will be in the description of the video. It says, is Chris Proudfoot's anger justified? So let me present this on screen. Okay. And again, I'm using fair use disclaimer.
Another agency.
Okay.
No, that was kept quiet because it's nobody. We kept it all quiet.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's great that you're telling us now.
Right. And, you know, Seth knew about it the day on that Tuesday when I.
Did you pass the polygraph?
Yes, I sure did, with flying colors.
And it was TBI that gave it to you?
Yes, TBI gave it to me along with another agency.
Okay.
No,
Very
that
good.
was kept quiet.
Wait a minute. I've had to take polygraphs because I used to be a security officer and I had to take a polygraph. I agree, April. I agree. I had to take a polygraph, but there was only one person there when the polygraph was given. Well, two. Me and the person administering the polygraph. It wasn't several different agencies. It was the person that was administering the polygraph. Then the results went to who needed them. So I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe they do things different over in Tennessee. I don't know.
Because it's nobody. We kept it all quiet.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's great that you're telling us now.
Right. And, you know, Seth knew about it the day on that Tuesday when I took it, passed it.
Okay. Now, Chris Proudfoot just said that TBI and another agency gave him the lie detector test, the polygraph. And he said they kept it all quiet. Then he said Seth knew about it the day he took it, that Tuesday. Now listen to what he's about to say next.
They called and told him that I passed it.
And okay, well, maybe he was told he couldn't say anything.
No, he was told he could say something. They told him so he would try to keep his rhetoric down. That's why they told him. And I have the text message where they asked me if they could tell him. And I said, I have listened to y'all from the beginning. I'm listening to you now. So please do what you feel is best.
Right. I agree with you, April T. So, Chris wanted to keep it hush hush. He only wanted to tell Seth because he wanted Seth to know that he actually took one. But Seth says, last I heard, I haven't ever heard Seth say that he saw that Chris took a Proudfoot. I never heard. Now I might have missed something. Don't get me wrong. And I know that Seth is not the kind of person that's going to go out and say, oh, did you hear? Chris took a polygraph and passed it. Seth don't do that. Seth is reserved unto himself. But Chris wanted it all kept hush hush. But then they wanted to tell Seth so Seth could get the word out. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And to the best of my knowledge, Seth didn't get the word out because there's so many people today that still don't know that Chris actually did take a polygraph. This was the first I'd heard of it.
In the video clip we just watched, Chris Proudfoot confirmed that he passed a polygraph test. You can find the link to the full video in the description and the comment section of this video. The clip is from the Web Sleuth's YouTube channel, and if you have time, I encourage you to watch the full video for more context. Now, let's dive into Chris's behavior, especially his anger. Before we go any further, let me be clear, if you're someone who is staunchly supporting or opposing Chris Proudfoot, this video might not be for you. I'm not here to take sides. In fact, I find the behavior of all three parents in this situation highly questionable. That said, I want to focus on Chris today, and particularly on why he seems so angry.
So, I would say she's on Team Sebastian. which if you're Team Sebastian, you're also Green Team. Because I don't know of any Bluebirds that are wanting to say they're not on either side and only want to focus on finding Sebastian. So, and I didn't listen to the rest of the video. It's only 6 minutes. So,
Sebastian,
minus commercials.
who has autism, is currently missing, and it's unclear if he ran away, was lured away and abducted, or if someone within the household caused him harm. With all these possibilities on the table,
My answer to that question is yes. Because we know one of the above happened. So the answer is yes.
Chris's anger during the live stream could stem from many sources. On one hand, being accused of harming a child, especially without evidence, is enough to make anyone angry. Chris and his family have faced these accusations, and it's possible his anger is a direct response to the stress and frustration of being scrutinized so intensely. Some people react to pressure with visible anger, and Chris's outbursts might be a result of trying to defend himself, his wife, and their family from what he sees as baseless accusations. At the same time, being angry in public, especially in a live stream, raises questions about how that anger plays out in private, particularly in the context of a household.
You know what I just thought? He's been going through child custody battles with Nina over his daughter Faith. His anger actions and bursts of anger say a whole lot to those judges that have to rule on whether he gets co-parenting or temporary custody or full custody. And I don't know about Tennessee laws, but in Arkansas, I do know that, now I don't know this from personal experience. Let me get that clear first before I get the words out. If a child goes missing while it's in your custody, and you're trying to get custody of another child, there, to the best of my knowledge, there is not a judge in the state of Arkansas that's going to give you custody of the second child with the first child having gone missing, because the first child was in your care and they don't want to put the second child in harm. So, and even if he said the child that Faith was in Chris's guardianship, Chris is married to Katie. If they'd have had Faith that night, and let's say somebody did actually come in the house and take Sebastian out of the house, okay? Because we know that the dining room window was left open all night. So it could happen. But if Faith had been there, because Katie would have had to have been taking care of both children while Chris was working, what are the odds that Sebastian would have been the only one that was taken and not the beautiful little Faith? So, yeah. Faith would be in just as much harm's way as Sebastian was that night, in my opinion. I don't think there's a judge on the planet, not inside the United States, that is going to give Chris custody of Faith with Sebastian being gone this long. Chris needs to get off his backside and go to wherever Sebastian is, if he knows, and bring Sebastian home.
That included a child with autism. Children with autism often struggle to process strong emotions, and a tense or volatile environment could be especially damaging. If Chris's anger was something Sebastian frequently encountered, it might have affected how safe or comfortable Sebastian felt at home.
Amen.
This brings up concerns about the family dynamic. Did Sebastian feel threatened or anxious in his stepfather's presence? Or was this anger something new, triggered by the accusations against Chris and his family? One aspect worth considering is the role of Chris as a step-parent to Sebastian. Step-parenting can be complicated, especially when a child has special needs. Chris may have found it difficult to navigate his relationship with Sebastian, especially if there were pre-existing challenges around communication and emotional expression. In cases like these, step-parents might struggle with balancing authority and understanding, and Chris's frustration could be rooted in the difficulties of trying to be a parent in an already complicated family.
I wonder if Sebastian needed them pull-ups when Chris was out working. Or if he only needed them when Chris was home. Because Seth said he didn't need them at his house. So I wonder if Sebastian needed them with Katie. Because if Katie was the model mother that she portrayed herself to be on Sunday, why would he have fear issues that would cause him incontinence or whatever? Right, thank you.
Situation. Now let's talk about Katie, Chris's wife. Katie is also under scrutiny, and both she and Chris have been accused of possibly harming Sebastian. As the mother of a missing child, Katie is undoubtedly going through immense emotional turmoil. Having a spouse as visibly angry as Chris could add even more strain to their relationship. The stress of the accusations alone could have torn them apart. However, during interviews and at a recent court hearing involving a YouTuber who violated a court order, we saw Chris and Katie being supportive of one another. Chris, in particular, seems to be fiercely protective of Katie. This dynamic raises a critical question: is Chris protecting Katie because she did something to Sebastian, or is this just who Chris is? Some people are naturally protective of their families, especially their spouses, and Chris's behavior might be interpreted in different ways. To some, his protectiveness could be seen as a sign that he's hiding something, that he's shielding Katie because she knows more about what happened to Sebastian than she's letting on. But to others, this might simply be Chris stepping up as a husband during an extremely difficult time. There's no evidence that Katie did anything wrong, so it's possible that Chris...
April, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Because, okay, my husband is an over-the-road truck driver. I get to see him 4, maybe 5 days out of the month. If I'm lucky. Because he was just home. When did he leave out? He left out Saturday morning. And I won't see him again until like the 12th, 10th or 12th of May. So, because he comes home scheduled around doctor's appointments or things. I have to go in and have some skin cancers removed on the 26th of April. And he will not be able to be home when I go have those removed. So my son's going to have to go with me to get it done. It's right here in town, so I could probably just walk over there or walk home because that way I wouldn't drive. Yeah, I could probably do that so my son don't have to miss school. But still, my husband wanted to be home for that, but he can't because, he was just home he thought he was going to have a doctor's appointment, and then it turned out that they didn't have an appointment available until in May, so he can't get home. And then the 22nd of this month, I have to go to court over my dogs getting out last month or 2 weeks ago. So I have to go to court over that, and he wanted to be home for that, but he can't come home for that because he's got to come home in May. So it's really rough. And we can't afford for him to come home every weekend because He's an over-the-road driver. Right now he's in Washington, but tomorrow he could be in Texas, and the next day he could be in North Carolina. We never know where he's going, you know. So I hope y'all can't hear my neighbor's music, because I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Feels it's his duty to defend her and stand by her side. His protective.
Also, wasn't there rumors that they were about to divorce before she got rid of Sebastian, or before Sebastian went missing? I think there was.
Nature could easily be mistaken for anger, or perhaps his anger comes from feeling like his entire family, including himself, his wife, and his parents, are being unjustly accused. Of course, we also have to consider that Chris might simply be an angry person in general. Maybe he naturally speaks to people in a condescending or belittling way, and this isn't tied to the current situation. If that's the case, it could explain why he comes across as so defensive and why he seemed ready for a fight in the live stream. His natural disposition might just make him appear more confrontational than he intends, especially in emotionally charged situations like this one. In the end, we're left with a lot of questions. How much of Chris's anger is justified? Is it simply the result of stress and frustration, or is it indicative of a deeper issue within the household?
Let's take a third scenario. Maybe he's angry because he's angry at himself for what happened to Sebastian. Because he, in my opinion, I think he knows more than he's telling, and that angers him that he can't tell, because somebody would get in trouble if he did tell. I don't know who that somebody would be. I won't admit to knowing, or to admit to thinking I know, because that's not what the green team does. But maybe that's part of his anger, is the fact that he knows more than he's able to say. And he says that often. He says there's things that law enforcement won't let come out. And I wish it could come out, because it would clear up a lot of things for a lot of people. Yeah.
And how does this affect the ongoing investigation into Sebastian's disappearance? And now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you think Chris's protectiveness of Katie is a sign that he's hiding something, or is it just him being a supportive husband? How do you think Sebastian's autism played into the family dynamics? Lastly, do you believe Chris's anger is a response to the situation, or do you think it reflects his general personality? This brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching.
Where did I go? Oh. Okay. So, now, he's full of it, in my opinion. He knows and can't explain certain things away. And that makes a lot of sense, April. My back is itching like crazy. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe when I took a shower, I didn't get all my soap rinsed off or something. It was itchy. Now, are you familiar with the Common Pleas of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, where Stephen Fisher supposedly, one private investigator involved in the search, Stephen Fisher, filed a non-party opposition to the injunction request, claiming that he is actively engaged in the search for Sebastian, and a preliminary and ultimately permanent would undermine the real search for Sebastian. My standing as a non-party opposer in the case arises from the plaintiff's attempts to secure preliminary and permanent injunction. Fisher explains in his opposition, which would undermine the integrity of the investigation by silencing media personalities, obstructing public dialogue, and acquiring communications and data. Oh, he withdrew it? He is full of it. Okay. I thought he withdrew it. I don't know if okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold off on this part, and I'm gonna find out if he withdrew it, because I don't want to say I don't know, and I don't want to put out false information. Now, in October, I'm sure it wasn't false information, but now it might be false information, because if he withdrew it, then because this is against At Night, Dog the Bounty Hunter, Seth, Tony Mathis, Bullhorn Betty, AWBJ. I don't know who Christina O'Donnell is. I don't know who Julia Valenti is. I know who Hong is, and I know who Nick the Hat is. But it's saying that all of those are plaintiffs. And it says it's a non-party opposition to motion for preliminary injunction. So I'm going to find out before I read this if he has withdrew. Because to the best of my knowledge, I don't know if this ever went to court. I guess I need to do some more research. Okay. Because to the best of my knowledge, Stephen Fisher is no longer working for the Proudfoots. He is off on another case in Arizona, doing his own thing, because the Proudfoots give him the boot. To the best of my knowledge. I could be wrong. But he is in no way anymore defending the Proudfoots. Apparently, either he quit because he learned something that could have really hurt him badly to know the truth, or he was too close to finding out the truth and was ejected. So one or the other, in my opinion, is what happened. I thought he said he withdrew it before he took his social media down and put it back up again. I don't know. I'm going to do some research and find out. Thank you for letting me know that, because I could have put false information out there, and somebody who doesn't know the case could have listened to my post here and said, oh, I can't believe he did that. And then it could start a whole new thing, because if they didn't stop and listen and hear that it was in October of 2024. So I need to do some research on that. So in the meantime, I'm going to get off of here and go find something, because my son only had 10 minutes at home when he came home for lunch from work, and he's usually got an hour. So he didn't get to eat but a corn dog. And then I had to take him back to work, and he should be getting off work in about half an hour. So I need to get something to, and I got to get something to cover this brassy yellow on my head. Yeah, something didn't work right with it. Supposed to be turning my hair gray, and it turned it yellow. I mean, it's like a child's yellow, like a little bitty child's hair. I don't even have a picture of me with that color hair. I did have that color hair when I was little, but I don't have a picture of me now with hair that color. Up until from 1967 until 1979, I believe it was, when the baby got changed, I was the baby coming out from under the blanket on the downy. But Demi permanent toner. I am gonna go see if I can get some at Walmart. We don't have a Sally here in town. The closest one is over in Wichita, and they're not open on Sunday to the best of my knowledge, but I can research it. I was thinking about getting an ash blonde and going over it and seeing what that would do, because I mean it doesn't have hot spots or anything. It's yeah, it's do not use permanent so use semi-permanent. Okay. But won't that wash out? I use semi-permanent on my son, and it just keeps getting darker and darker and darker. And I thought, since I bleached his hair, because he has black hair, I bleached his hair, and it came out a brassy orange color. And I thought, okay, I'm putting red over it, so orange, red, it'll be okay. So I put the red over it, and every day it just keeps getting darker and darker and darker. And he says, I need my pillow washed again. I need my pillow washed again. I said, put a pillowcase over your pillow and we'll wash it when it's done fading. What did I use on my hair to lift it? Hold on, I'll go get that. L'Oreal bleach. Now my hair was already kind of this brassy orangish color like this right here today, because I did it yesterday too. And I thought I would get this light color, which I did. But I thought, I don't know where my brain was. I thought I'd get this white color like it shows on the front of the box. That's what I wanted. Because I'm almost 60 years old, I should have gray hair. But I probably would have gotten that color if 5 minutes after I got all the color on and combed through and everything, and I was sitting there waiting my 30 minutes, my son comes in and he said, I need you to take me back to work because I only got 5 minutes for lunch. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that means I only got to leave the lightener on my hair for 5 minutes today. And which it helped because I did have really dark roots right here and right here. It was really dark where I'd missed it yesterday. But, you know, it is what it is. It's only hair. It'll grow back. And I'm afraid to try to put color or lightener on it again because A, I would have hot roots and I don't want hot roots. And B, I don't want my hair falling out. So I watch Brad Mondo all the time, so I'm not going to do that. But I might get it. I was thinking about getting an ash blonde because that was supposed to be platinum. Of orange to yellow, yeah. I had naturally kind of a dirty blonde hair, naturally, but I don't know. This kind of doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I could get by with it. It's only hair, it'll grow out. Oh, did you? I have a friend in Little Rock, Arkansas that I've never met face to face, but she tells me how to cut my hair. So she tells me, she says, now you need to do this and you need to do. The last time she had me part it right here and pull it forward in a ponytail right here and pull this part up here in a ponytail and then pull this part here and cut. And she had me cut both of them at the same length so that both ponytails were at the same length. And then when I let it out, it was supposed to give me layers, but I like my hair feathered. So what I do is when I blow it, I feather it back like that. And my hair is really flat anyway, so I feather it back like that, and then I put the hairspray on it. So, but I've done my own hair since I was 13. When I was 19, I believe it was, I had hair down to my waist. And I came in on a bus from Wyoming. I went to Arkansas. I got off the bus at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had an 18-month-old. My oldest child was with me. And we were coming down to visit my mom and dad. And I had put my hair up in a bun before I left Wyoming, and riding on the bus for 36 hours. And I got here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, down in Arkansas at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got out of the bus station. My mom looked at me. She said, she didn't say hi. She didn't say, how was your trip? She didn't. Tomorrow we're going to go get something done with that hair. Okay. So I thought I wanted a spiral perm. Okay. So we go to the hairdresser, and she trims my hair a little bit, and she puts the spiral perm in, and it looks really pretty. The next morning I got up and my hair was board straight. So we go back to the hairdresser. She trims my hair again, puts another perm in, and it looks pretty. Go back home the next morning, and I haven't showered, okay? Because they told me I couldn't shower for 3 days. I couldn't wash my hair for 3 days. So I haven't showered, and I get up the next morning, my hair's board straight. We go back to the hairdresser. She cuts my hair. By this time, my hair's up to here, and it was at my waist. She cuts it. She said my hair was just too heavy, so she kept trimming and she put a third perm in my hair. While she was squirting the solution on, now this is after she rinsed it with the perm rods, and she was putting this other solution on my hair that had to set for more time. And then she put this solution on, then she took the curlers out and all that stuff. I told my mom, I said, Mom, we need to go by the store and pick up some supplies for my monthly. And the hairdresser says, don't tell me you're on your monthly. And I said, yes, ma'am. I started when I was on the bus coming from Wyoming 3 days ago. She said, no wonder your hair's straight every day. She said, it's going to be straight tomorrow morning. She said, there's nothing we can do about it. She said, but when you get off your monthly and you wash your hair, she said, it is going to be so curly that you are not going to be able to stand it. And she was right. It was like, I ended up having to get it all cut really short because it fried my hair. And I'm like, why did it do that? And I didn't know that your body changes hormones when you have your monthly cycle, and it won't take a permanent. So it actually did take the first time, but the results wouldn't have showed up until after I got off after my hormones leveled out again. I didn't know that. So I haven't been back to a hairdresser since. So there we go. But I was doing my hair long before that anyway. So I've always worn the same hairstyle, except for if I let it grow long or let it grow short or whatever. But so it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to get off here. I've got to get some more items transferred over from eBay to my website, and I got to do some more research on this plea from SF Investigates. You too, thank you for being here, April. Do something nice for someone, even if it's just be the reason they smile, and get lockered.